So if you're a coach, consultant, B2B business, and you're running organic content marketing, but you're not seeing any ROI from this whatsoever, then this is the video for you. On the other hand, if you fit this demographic, but you're not currently creating any organic content, then also stay tuned. So in this document, I'm basically going to run through how to 2 to 4x, your business revenue with organic content done right. And so just to address this first point here, which is why your existing content marketing doesn't work. I see too many people at the moment simply creating content for the masses with no clear intention. There is no clear target audience at the end of that piece of content, and therefore, it essentially doesn't work. It does not resonate with your ICP. It does not pull in those viewers that you desperately want. I jump on calls with people on a weekly basis and they say, look, we're pulling in all these views, we're pulling in all these subscribers, we're getting this level of engagement, but we're not seeing any ROI from this. And the clear thing is you're just creating content for the masses. So the content needs to have intention. And if you're pulling in those numbers with intentional content, then you will start to see an ROI from the content. So there's no proper funnel in place to nurture from awareness through to conversion. So this is a key point. Think about your organic content marketing as almost paid route. So if you're running paid ads, then you have a clear funnel in place to bringing those eyeballs onto your ads, to nurture them and then retarget them and get those conversions. So that's the funnel structure, and the same thing applies to organic content. Poor quality content production, thumbnails, editing, scripting. So this is obviously more of a softer one, but it does drastically make a difference in terms of how professional your content is looking. If you're not using a good webcam or a good camera or whatever it is, and your content just looks pretty crap, then it just isn't going to resonate with your ICP. Essentially, if someone else in your space is creating content with much better production, then they're going to be the clear winner. And obviously thumbnails is the initial selling point of the video, so these really need to be on point. See this if your ICP is looking at the homepage and they're sifting through videos, what about your thumbnail is going to make them click on your video, essentially? And then editing, scripting, I will mention them later on in the video, but actually maybe just to touch on scripting. So there's two sides of this. The first side I do see, which is a lot of people will say, okay, but if you're scripting out a video, then your content's going to be less authentic. Now, I'm not saying, map out word for word what you're going to say in that video, because I do think that takes away from authenticity. But what I'm saying is that you need to have clear conviction when you're presenting to your target audience about a particular topic. You need to show that conviction, and therefore having bullet points so that you know what chapters to cover, you know what points to really bring home. That can be massively beneficial in terms of amplifying that conviction over to your ICP. So this is the content funnel that essentially prints, and here I've mapped it out into top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. So the top of funnel, this is all about awareness, so pulling in your ICP. So you're talking about topics within your space at more higher level that really do sort of pull in those viewers, essentially. And then the middle of funnel, so this is all about nurturing those viewers and nurturing those leads. And I see this as addressing particular pain points for your ICP and more technical content. So let's say you've talked about a more general topic in your space at the top of funnel, and instantly viewers will be thinking, okay, well, you haven't mentioned this, you haven't mentioned that, I want to know more about this, I want to have more details on that particular topic. Well, then that's where the middle of funnel comes in, and you really do go into detail. And this really sort of establishes yourself as an authority in your space, and people will go to you for that type of education, and they will see you as this all-knowing person in your niche. So this is bottom of funnel social proof, testimonial content, and this is all about really pushing this in the most authentic way possible. So 2 content streams I've noted here. Number 1, client interviews. I do think these are massively superior to case study walkthroughs, but let's say you're not able to get a past client on an interview, then case study walkthroughs can work, but what you've got to make sure is that there's clear proof there. So essentially apply proof edits to that video to add the substance. And then finally, plug in the offer. So you definitely need to be doing this, but it's about how you do it that makes a difference. So include a short segment within the 20 to 30% of your long form video to really highlight your service and offer. Make sure to keep it very short and sweet. So don't ramble on, keep it between 15 to 20 seconds and really nail down the key points, why your service or product is beneficial to your ICP and how can it help them go from X to Y, essentially. And then inserting the intermission in a strategic moment. So obviously here you are selling something, something, but you don't want to come across like you're pushing it down their throat, right? So moving on to the next sheet here. So this is all about attracting the ICP to your content and key strategies to be able to do this, some of which I've mentioned more high level on the second sheet. So coming up with ideas that really does crush is essentially a key point here, and it's the first stage of your content process. So you've got to make sure that this is properly dialed in, because obviously the rest of the stages do take a lot of time to be able to put that video together. So the first thing that you want to do before you even create the video is essentially come up with an idea that actually gets very, very good search volume. And so tools like VIDIQ, I'll leave the link in the description, can massively help by identifying videos that have got that high search volume and low competition, and that's a sweet spot that you're looking to hit. And then the second thing is really analyzing channels in different verticals. So analyzing your competitors' channels and really understanding, okay, what content are they creating? Are they seeing almost sort of breakthrough potential from the content, i.e. what's their views to subscriber ratio looking like, to really see, okay, are these video ideas crushing? And so ideas need to have that strong breakthrough potential, which I mentioned above. And then don't be afraid at looking at channels that are not in your niche. You know, that might be a common fear, but if you understand, okay, this title framework can apply to my niche, then do so, especially if that video has performed very, very well. So thumbnails, I mentioned them previously, but these are the initial selling point of the video. Therefore, you've got to have them dialed in, and you need to be creating multiple variations here. So really leveraging A/B testing if possible. There is actually a tool out there called thumbnailtest.com where you can test multiple different thumbnails, so more than 3 thumbnails, and that's where you get an exact breakdown of the CTR for each thumbnail, and that data is very, very meaningful. The key thing though is to keep them very simple but clean. So clustered thumbnails don't sell. If you've ever seen a thumbnail and there's just things going everywhere, really getting the key message from that thumbnail, then you instantly just get put off. It just doesn't sell to you. And have your face in it. So you want to, if you're building, you know, a channel and you want your face to be the center of that personal brand, you want people to recognize you, and therefore having a very clear picture of you on there showing some sort of emotion related to that particular video can really attain that high CTR. And so editing, obviously I mentioned this previously as well, but YouTube scales videos based on how much watch time they get. So average view duration, AVD, is a key retention metric that YouTube will look at in alignment with other metrics to see, okay, how are people enjoying this video and should we push this out to more and more people? So after a good hook and captivating topic, the only thing left is to essentially optimize your editing throughout and keep viewers retained. Goal of the edit is to bring out the key messages and takeaways to make them as easy to digest as possible. So this is a very clear key point. I see a lot of people who are editing content, but it's just all over the place. There's too much editing going on. Things are popping up left, right, and center, and that just doesn't work, right? It's actually disengaging. It takes away the professional element of the video. So the key thing that you've got to be thinking about is how can I make those videos as easy to digest as possible by pulling out those key messages and takeaways, not making it a sort of clustered mess, essentially. So fast-paced starting segments, so you really want to lean on that hook. If you've got a strong hook in place in the script, you've got to really lean on that and bring that to life, essentially make that as impactful as possible, and editing is a way that you can do that. Obviously, increased pacing, no empty parts, big pauses, use of segments, that is a key thing. You know, if your content doesn't have this and you're going a lot of the time, it just makes it more monotone. It makes it less easy to watch. And the key thing here is that you've got to make it as easy to watch as possible. So keeping that increased pacing throughout and cutting out all those use of segments can definitely work in terms of doing that. And then don't go overboard. This just doesn't work. That's I've already mentioned. So when you're editing these videos, don't just put things for the sake of it, because you think, okay, this looks nice, this looks clean. More time than not, it will take away from the professional aspect of that video. So you want to maintain that. You want to be pulling out those key messages, pulling out those key takeaways, and really pulling out those key value elements for the viewer. So continuous testing and refinement. So continually test and optimize videos to really generate the best results. And this is really a key thing. Creating organic content is not static whatsoever. It's not about just putting out content for the sake of it. It's really about collecting data and using that data to further optimize things. So making sure that you're A/B testing different thumbnails, you're testing out different titles, you're testing out different videos, different aspects of the script even, and really going down into that detailed level to understand, okay, what is the data breakdown here and what is our audience feeding back to us so that we can further optimize the content to get the best results as possible. And if you have that mindset when it comes to creating content, that is where you'll see the best results, and the audience will also see that as well. So find a topic that gets significantly better results than the rest and double down and capitalize. So if you've created something at the top of funnel where this video has really ripped and it's talking about a particular topic, you've pulled in a lot of those viewers, okay, well then a lot of those viewers will be having questions from that video, to the point where you can then create videos that delve into subtopics on that particular topic and attain very, very good results from that. But hopefully you found this video useful in terms of giving you a breakdown on how to actually create organic content that really does work, really does drive that ROI. If you're a coach, consultant, B2B business, and you know that you should be creating this organic content to really take your business growth and revenue to the next level, but you've got a lack of time and you think that bringing in people to handle all of this would be massively beneficial, then please feel free to book a call. Link is in the description. But aside from that, hopefully you found this video useful, and stay tuned for the next one.